Today we're going to talk about who is having a more historic season and who should be the NBA MVP, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and today we're going to talk about who should be not just the Oklahoma City Thunder's MVP, but the NBA MVP. And this comes after a really awesome night where the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Portland Trail Blazers, and we saw something that had never been done before. Both Russell Westbrook and Paul George had a triple-double with 20 points or more, first teammates to ever do that in NBA history. And for Russ, this marked the 10th straight game where the man had notched a triple-double. It has never been done before. He was previously tied with Wilt Chamberlain at 9, and now he stands alone, as he has for the past couple of seasons, and we're going to get into that. But over the past 20 games, Paul George has arguably been the best player in the NBA. He's averaging like 32 and 7 and 4, and he's shooting like 45% from 3, and he's taking nearly 11 attempts a game. And in closing time, in clutch time, Paul George has been the guy for Oklahoma City. And this experiment where Russ Westbrook is basically handing the ball off more often to guys like Paul George, guys like Jeremy Grant, getting Steven Adams involved, and trusting him to make plays is beginning to work in the regular season. I'll get to that also. But I want to just tell everybody that the whole James Harden 30-for-30 thing doesn't necessarily seem to be as exciting or impressive as it should be. Not just because James Harden takes a lot of shots, not just because James Harden's buckets usually come from the free throw line, and we all have our feelings about that. He's changing the way you have to call the game, and I salute him for that because, hey man, he's going to keep doing it until they tell him to stop doing it. That said, a lot of his 30-pointers, or a few of his 30-pointers, I should say, have come in garbage time where they're not necessarily looking to win the game. It's more that he wants to keep the streak going, and I would want to keep the streak going as well. It reminds me of a story that I read in The Jordan Rules by Sam Smith, which is a great book, a tell-all, one of the first great ones of the 90s that you should read, where Phil Jackson went to Michael Jordan and told him, hey, Mike, I'm going to have to sit you later in the fourth quarter because I want you fresh so that we can make a run in the NBA playoffs and win a championship. Everybody knows you got to play 82 games, and then you got to make it through 3 rounds, and then you can probably try to start thinking about how many games you played, and we're taking it close to 100 games, right? If not more. And he wanted to keep Mike's legs fresh. Mike said, cool, but I would not be able to win the scoring title if I don't play in the fourth quarter. And Phil was like, yeah, man, scoring titles are worth less than NBA titles. To which Mike said, And then, story goes, Mike started getting to the gym hours ahead of shoot around so he can get lathered up, get sweaty, get his 30 in the first half, and then look at Phil Jackson and say, now you can sit me. That's how I kind of feel about James Harden right now. It's really impressive that they are in contention, and they're going to be there competing with the Golden State Warriors, we think, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, we think, for an opportunity to play in the finals against whoever the East puts in there. And yeah, this is a year where it feels like it's going to cakewalk for the Golden State Warriors again. But I get back to this idea that Russell Westbrook has desensitized us all to triple-doubles and how difficult this used to be. This was not a given. Like, if a guy had 10 triple-doubles in a season, that was an outstanding season. And the mere fact that Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for an entire season and can continue to get buckets, boards, and assists in the manner that he's doing, especially coming back from that injury, is ridiculously impressive. So for me, Russ Westbrook has been way more impressive than James Harden or Paul George because we've seen those kinds of numbers from those kind of guys before. Not that Paul George has ever done what he's doing right now before, or James Harden has done what he's doing right now before. But we can remember historic seasons and MVP caliber seasons from other guys. We can talk about Kobe. We can talk about Bron. We can talk about MJ. We can go further back if we want to. But what Russell Westbrook has been able to do and basically try to mold his game in a season where he's not shooting the ball well into being more of a facilitator and more of a spark rather than the hammer that has to end games, that's been way more impressive to me. But again, we play this game for titles, and that's really my issue here. Will what Paul George and Russell Westbrook are doing right now result in winning an NBA title this year? I don't think so. because Golden State is just that good. And because you can get pushed in 7 games by teams like, the Portland Trail Blazers, who they beat and who Damian Lillard believes, hey, man, they beat us and Paul George's on another level, but they'll be there, right? And we know that San Antonio will probably be there, and we know what Golden State's going to do. But more to the point, this is the team that went out to Utah in the first round last year. So as cool as it is to be talking about how great Paul George and Russell Westbrook are in February, let's remember that it is still February, and this team hasn't made a finals since they had Russ, KD, and Harden on the same squad together. And yeah, Paul George and Russ Westbrook could lead them there. I just don't see it. Not this year. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.